Okay, it says I'm live there. And let's see what's going on over here. Nothing. So I'm going to end that. I have got a mixed up mess here. All right, let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get something going here. I don't know if I can or not. I'm trying. I'm trying to get in here and do something. Hey, Jersey Trucker. Oh, I'm feeling way better. I'm the only thing's feeling bad right now is my stream was messed up. I was on StreamYard trying to get it set up there, and I couldn't. Yeah, I'm late to the dance. Well, I was actually thought I was dancing, Jamie. I thought I was on the air with StreamYard, but evidently something was screwed up. I don't know what was going on, but I'm here and I'm in person and feeling better. Got the camera running right, and hopefully everybody will go along with what I'm doing this morning. And it feels good to get back out here on the airways this morning, I guess you might say. See how my old thin hair looks. That's one thing about these good cameras. These good cameras will show how bad or how thin my hair is. They got too much detail, so all my imperfections will shine through on the camera. Well, that's probably what I need to do, Jamie. I need to fire my producer. I think he walked out on me last week. Oh, me. Yeah, I was feeling just a little bit peaked last week. A little bit under the weather. You know how you get sometimes. And I just wasn't feeling like getting on the air and talking and doing much of anything. Today, though, I'm feeling pretty good today. Feel like I need to get up this morning and say a few things and hopefully get things rocking and rolling. I've been watching a lot of videos on this crypto stuff, this FTX debacle and all that sort of stuff. Boy, I tell you what, our government is screwed up letting stuff like that happen. And of course, you understand where it comes from is the major donors that he gave to. He was the second largest donor past Bernie Madoff, gave $40 million. Who did he give it to? Wow, it was the Democrats. Surprise, surprise. He says he gave it to a few Republicans, but that was dark money with them. In other words, I can't tell you which ones, but we gave just as much to the Republicans. I don't think so. It's just he's lying. This boy's lying through his teeth, and of course they've got him on every airway, kind of discussing what he's doing. Why they haven't arrested this fool, I never know. Yeah, maybe I should get Donald to help me with the wave goodbye. I can't comb over what I don't have, and I guess I could let this grow real long on this side and comb it way over on this side, and that sort of stuff. But I don't think I want to do that. I look weird enough as it is without doing a wild comb over, and I don't want to do that and then have a big gust of wind come by and blow it all over. I never have cared for the men who had their hair parted way down here and combed it over. I'll just let nature take its course. If it keeps going back, it'll just keep going back. And what I have left, I'll have left. And that's about only way I look at it. I'm not going to try to impress anybody with my flowing blonde hair or bleach blonde or whatever color people have nowadays that do that. But I'm just mine's just gray and black. I guess the old salt and pepper look. And I'm not worried about my hair, that's for sure. But I'm, worried about the economy and everything. I'm worried about how things are looking out there right now. Um, I hope with the midterms, uh, you know, getting the majority of the Congress back in the Republicans' hand, that at least we'll have something different going on. We won't have Nancy Pelosi calling shots, and we'll have, some of the. All my phones are making noises here. I got all these notifications, uh, but uh, just hopefully we'll get back to a little bit of sanity, and maybe we'll investigate some of this stuff. I mean, like I was saying, like this crypto stuff. The guy who gave Biden $20 million last year in 2020, $20 million for his campaign, and it's like it's funny money. These people are working off funny money, and now they can't figure out where the money went. Well, yeah, I can figure out where it went and went to line people's pockets and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Well, I probably need a makeup person. This old face here, I don't know how much you can make up. You can put a, a pig in a tuxedo, and you mainly got just a pig in a tuxedo. I still look like I'm a pig, I guess. I'm not going to worry about that. But you know, I'm just glad to. Hey, hon, my wife has stepped in. You want to come over this way and say anything?
Nope.
Well, you can say something. They don't have to see you. You don't have to come over this way.
I'll say, hey, everybody.
Okay, Barbara said, "Hey, everybody." I don't know if y'all heard that or not, uh, but we're enjoying this Sunday morning. Barbara's been getting more of the Christmas stuff out and all that, and I'm just sitting back and relaxing here this morning. As you can see, I'm sitting here in the recliner, and again this morning, and hopefully the signal's pretty good. I didn't ask to see how good the signal was on this end. I can't tell, of course, because I'm just at the mercy of whatever my signal is. I'm down here at the house. Jamie said, "Hello, Barbara." And but we're hopefully things are going to straighten out this year. I a little bit anyway, but I am concerned about some of these investigations that need to take place. Like I said, this crypto market has really got me confused as how that much money could be moved around without the regulators seeing something strange. And that is, I'll look into that FTX, go online. And I mean, it just, me, you got a 30-year-old guy and a 29-year-old girl that are running multi-billion, not million, but billions of dollars, well, crypto now, I guess. And it's kind of vanished. It had all kind of investors. It had one that was sort of funny. They had a Canadian teachers union that had put like $90 million into it. Well, they can kiss that goodbye. Hey, Tim, I hadn't seen you in here a long time. Well, I'll tell Miss Barbara. She just stepped outside. I think she's taking something out to the trash, cleaning up a little bit and getting the house straightened up. Always on a Sunday morning trying to get things going. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to stay in shape here, Tim. Are you still over in Italy? I haven't kept up with you. Last time I think you told me you were in Italy at the time. I don't know how it is over there, but boy, it's a mess over here right now. I mean, of course, I say it's a mess, but all in all, fortunately, where I live, my world has not been rocked by anything bad because I'm out here in the country. We're right outside the city limits of my little town of Cherryville, and Cherryville's economy has not been rocked uh, dramatically, other than the price of fuel and the price of groceries. But I don't have to go very far to get what I want, so that in itself is a benefit for me. For people that have to travel long ways now, I would feel uh, uh, I would feel pretty bad if I had to go, long distances and everything. Now, the only thing we have to do, Barbara and I both, we go to doctor appointments in Shelby or Lincoln, which is about 10 or 12 miles away from here. But um, that's about the extent of my travel, other than going to a few restaurants and a few things like that. I'm not doing the movement like I used to do when I was going to Charlotte multiple times a day, and then having to go to Savannah, Georgia, and or Greensboro, and all these other locations on a multiple, you know, on a weekly basis. I was running thousands of miles just to keep the operation rolling. So that the relief of that has been tremendous. I mean, being able to sit back and do things in my office and here at my house and out in the yard and do things like that, as opposed to running all over. They used the old saying was hell in half of Georgia, and I was actually going through half of Georgia, I guess you might say, to get things checked out because I was running down to Savannah. Are you going to be headed back to Yonkers in New York? Are you? Wow. Okay. I hope you like it up there. Of course, you're going to wait till the spring, Tim. That's good. That's good. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not a big New York City fan. I mean, I know a lot of people love the city. I have never enjoyed city life even around here. I don't. I'm a country boy. I like being out here. I mean, I can turn right around and you can look out my back window here. You can see the trees and everything. If I put the camera to the right of me, uh, you can see my pond. I've got the pond and the pasture and the trees, and everything like that is more pleasant to me than buildings. I've never been big on just seeing massive amount of buildings around me. It's just not a pleasant. It's not a pleasant thought for me. I mean, if I see tall, I want it to be a tree. If I see anything massive, I want it to be a landscape. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be a big building. I mean, a lot of people love that, and if that's your thing, so be it. But I'm just not. I'm a rural person, not an urban, I guess you might say. Yeah, life is pretty good on the farm. Jim and I have been working. Well, mainly Jim, been working on a dump truck. I've been using for the past few months a dump truck of a friend of mine's, and I basically asked him if he'd sell it to me, and he sold me his. It's a small 2-ton dump truck. I guess it's 2 ton. Small, as a lot of people know, like a state dump truck, like the states usually use on the road crews. That's that size dump truck. It's got a small diesel engine with a 5-speed, and it's a neat little truck, and it's all I need out here on the farm. And I've been doing the excavating and cleaning up around the farm and getting some trees and just I had the pond cleaned out back last spring, and I probably ought to put those videos up so you've seen what I've done. But I cleaned out the pond and put a lot of road tile in and repaved our driveway and just done a lot of things down here on the farm that we really wanted to do to improve it. And we got a few more things that Barbara and I have discussed that I need to do. and that sort of stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. If you need a job, fortunately, I'm retired, Tim. Yeah, I guess the opportunity for jobs abound pretty good. I mean, and you well all over in the United States right now. I mean, if you need a job, I would venture to say you could get a job at just about any occupation that you want. Uh, and I don't know what kind of occupation you've done over the years, but I would venture to say that the is wide open as far as the job market goes. Now, there again, of course, there's been a lot of layoffs too lately. I mean, some of these people are trimming the fat, and I think they should. I mean, you see all these people like Amazon and Twitter and Facebook and a lot of these big tech companies are cutting the fat. And I would imagine there's other companies that are going to start looking at themselves too, looking inward and saying, "Do we need all these people?" I mean, you've got a lot of HR people and all kind of different jobs. It's sort of a make do job. Uh, there's always a public relations person that you could probably eliminate, or there's always, I mean, I guarantee there's always a little bit of fat. Now, in my job, I can't cut much fat. I got me and Jim. And if I cut either one of us out, the job's over, I guess. So, Jim, your job's secure. Jim, Jim is the only employee, so I can't cut any fat. I can't cut any fat out of my corporation, can I? If I cut any fat out, I've thinned it out completely. I have nobody because there's no fat, and I won't even let Jim get fat. So, Jim, you're secure if you're listening. Jim sometimes he watches it after I do it. He doesn't usually watch it live, I don't think, but he'll tune in to see what I've said and all that. So he'll know that his job is secure. Of course, I think he knows that anyway. But yeah, a lot of these companies are cutting the fat out of their business and everything because I mean I really can't imagine being able to cut 100 people or 200 people or in some cases 1,000 people. I mean, that's definitely having a lot of fat in the corporation. Uh, and it amazes me that so many of these businesses grow and grow and grow and have so many tentacles, I guess you might say, all over their corporation and intertwined with each other and just really make a mess of their company by hiring so many people. But it happened. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, a lot of these corporations and that's the other thing. Have everybody working remotely, and they don't go to the offices. And like Jamie was saying, he had a friend whose son works for the government and has only been to the office one time, or just has done it for the first time in 3 years. Yeah, I mean that's there's got to be a check and balance system. Whereas I'm going to take a drink. Yeah, there's got to be a check and balance system. Whereas these corporations and the government and everybody else kind of looks at it and goes, we don't need 4 people doing this job, or we don't need three people doing this job. Maybe we can cut it down to 1 or 2 or whatever the case may be. And I think people kind of cleaning house a little bit is probably a good thing because we have definitely probably got a lot of fat. I know we got tons of fat in the government. You can look around at all these government agencies and see what they're doing. And then plus that's the problem with the Democratic way of thinking is they want bigger government. Republicans want a smaller government. They want government less involved in your business. And I want the government less involved in my business. I don't want to have somebody to say you got to do XYZ regulation and do this and do that. I mean, think about it. Just go out and try to build something nowadays and go through the permitting process. The permitting process is ridiculous and way more expensive than it should be. I mean, I forget what somebody told me that building permits are costing now. Just the cost to have them come out and give you 2 minutes of their time, say, don't do this and do this. And they'll charge you a fortune now for building permits. And I'm glad I'm not building anything. I'm glad I'm not building anything for sure, because, like I say, the permits and the regulations and stuff like that, it's just ridiculous. But we've got to be able to get our government under control. We've got to be able to get things rolling a little bit better than we have had. I mean, I don't know. It's a crazy world out there, and I just I hope we can get some of it straightened out. I'm an optimist, so I feel like we will. I feel like we will be able to turn some things around. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I mean, we've done a little bit. I mean, you change the dynamics of the state of New York a little bit. I mean, we voted in a way more Republican representatives up there. They sort of changed the wave right there in itself. And then in Florida, Florida had a big red wave, thank goodness. But New York State came through with a lot more Republican representatives. Now, of course, they're still a major blue state. And until the mentality of people in New York say, we've got to change, we got to change what's going on here and quit reelecting these same crazy Democrats and these people that keep these things going in the same direction. You're never going to get any change. I mean, they've got a mayor that's Democrat, you got a governor that's Democrat, and you've got the House. I think. Well, I don't know the state House. I don't know how it's controlled up there, but I think it's still a majority of Democrats in the state House in New York. But like I said, they did flip several seats to the Republican side as far as the legislature going to Congress, which is great. I mean, that is a major thing, and I hope they can keep that going. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, people are getting sick and tired of some of these things. Oh wow, your Wi-Fi is that bad, huh? Yeah, no, not Mac Jones, Mike Jones, and Yahoo, I guess. Uh, you got to go, have you? Well, Tim, I appreciate you jumping in here from Italy, and maybe you can get over here and back into the U.S. in a few months and see what we've been going through, trying to straighten up this world. And you take care, and I'll catch you on another day, Tim. Yeah, we'll do our best to keep the word out there and try to straighten out things. Like I said, we can't do much more damage to the world than what some of these crazies are doing out there, like these Bitcoin people, the FTX and Alameda. I believe it's Alameda something or another that he had. People, when you see the intertwining, and like I said, I would suggest everybody go out there, kind of watch that. And the government's jumping in there. I saw Dick Durbin had something on the other day that he's wanting things regulated. But I believe Dick Durbin's the one that actually took some money from that guy too. I know him and a couple of other people on the finance committee and a few others, you know, didn't like it a bit. And you've got to understand people like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett and basically was it Charlie? What's Charlie's name? Anyway, his partner Charlie. Uh, they basically said, cryptocurrency is basically a big turd, and he said I cleaned it up for that. So basically it's a bunch of crap, and it is. It's the crypto market right now. I mean, that's fake money. That's fake money. People are taking good money and putting in fake money that has no tangible value. It's not backed by anybody. It's not backed by anything. It's a currency that wants you to buy into it, and you hope that the next guy wants to pay you more than you paid for it. That's all it is. It's monopoly money. You might as well be getting out a set of monopoly dollars and trying to buy things with it, because that's what it is. I mean, the game of monopoly, and you might get really rich and you got a whole pile of monopoly money, but in reality, you're not going to be able to go out there and use it for much of anything. And that's what you got with Bitcoin and everything else. I mean, because people are trading it. I mean, in other words, if you were to sit down with monopoly money and you would have people give you real dollars for a monopoly piece, a monopoly dollar. I mean, that's what you've got out there. You got people taking real dollar bills that is backed by the government and giving it to somebody with something as tangible or whatever as monopoly money. In other words, you take $500 and of real money and give somebody, and then he hands you a monopoly piece that says you got $500. That's what you've got. Yeah, I'm feeling better, Chris. Go into the wood. I don't get what you're saying. Did you? I missed something there. But I'm in the woods already. If you're talking about that, but it's a strange world. Like I said, when you, I would rather have tangible items. In other words, if I go out and buy a tractor, I actually have a tractor that can do things for me. Or if I go out and buy a Bobcat, that Bobcat will actually do work for me. I can move dirt with it. I can make money with that, whatever you want to call money. I can barter with it. I can actually make it do work. I like something like that a lot better than I do any kind of crypto coins. Oh yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, well, I can do that too. The cell phones don't bother me anymore. I really have to double check and make sure anybody's called because I have uh, very few cell phone calls anymore. It used to be I had cell phones. I would have several hundred, hundred phone calls a day, and had multiple phones. I still have multiple phones, but I don't need them. I could cut it back to one phone, I guess, in reality, if I wanted. I like the convenience of a second one in case I am using one for another issue. I mean, I guess that's just an old habit. But no, as far as cell phones, I'm not bothered by phone calls anymore. And I've got my main phone set to screen everything that comes in. So I don't even get bothered by telemarketers or anything else. I mean, I used to get bothered with that, but I've got my phone set. So, I mean, you're going to get a recording and I'll screen it. I can see the recording. Usually if I'm near the phone, I'll see the, what's called, unless you're on my contact list. Now it will ring through if you're on my contact list. So that screens a lot of people, thousands of calls, really, I guess you might say. So if it's, Joe Blow's little telemarketing, and or if it's a political campaign or anything, it goes right over the top on mine. It will not come through my phones because my phone will screen it. Now it's got it so it can you can record and I can get the messages if anybody's got a legitimate message. But if it's somebody on an automated phone call, it'll just block it off and it won't go through. Yeah, you can still call Chris. Yeah, I got people that's Jamie can call. Jamie calls me occasionally, and we still talk. I still have people that I have talked to and things like that that have my numbers. I don't have any problem with talking to people like that. All this telemarketing though, and all these fundraisers and people trying to scam you. I mean, you get enough of that on emails and everything else. I get tons of these you've won a prize type thing, and trust me, I just overlook all of that. And I've even had, I know a lot of y'all probably had the publisher clearinghouse scam too, where you got some guy that says, "Oh yeah, you've won a Cadillac and this," and I said, "Well, great, send it on." "Well, we need to process it. We need for you to get X amount of dollars." I said, "No, you don't. I've won something I've wanted. If I hadn't, take the money out of the proceeds, whatever I've got, and you just give me the remainder." "Oh, no, we can't do that." "Yeah, no, you can't because you're a scam." And that, anybody that says that you have to pay them money to get your reward, it's a scam. So people ought to know that by now. Hey, Walter. Yeah, I know it, and most people do. Most people get those scams from even the police departments. And unfortunately, and I wish these police departments and stuff like that would quit using these soliciting telemarketers. And I've heard some of them say, "Well, but we get a percentage of that." No, but you get a very small percentage. They take most of their fees out of it, and they'll give, they'll raise 50,000 or $100,000, and they'll give the police force or whoever $1,000 or $2,000, and they some of them in power. We can justify that because we didn't spend any time doing it. But you scam the rest of the people out there thinking their good money is going to a charity that you back. And it probably does, but it gets very little from them. What needs to be done, that you need to look into the charity donation. And there's a list of all charitable organizations out there. I saw it the other day, and a guy was publishing that. Hey, Joey. Yeah, I'm feeling way better. Sometimes you get like that. I just had a bad week last week. Wasn't feeling good. So I just, I hope everybody understands. It was just one of those days. I mean, I wasn't deathly sick. I wasn't anything major. It was just the fact that I just wasn't feeling good that morning. I hadn't slept good the night before, that sort of thing. And just right to excuse me, having to check my ear there. My hearing aid was making a racket, but just one of those things. Oh, I know. Like I said, I get all those emails and calls and everything too. And the world is a big scam out there on a lot of things. We got to be able to have our guard up and our filters up to be able to maintain a sane life out there. That's for sure. Hey, yeah, I do need a trim, and I'm actually going to get a haircut. Yeah, I need a trim. The old fluffy what I got left hair is got to be needing a trim. I think my hair appointment's Wednesday. I asked Barbara about that the other day. Yeah, it's getting a little bit long on the sides and everything. No, I don't watch Flint. Is that on YouTube or where is that at, Joey? I haven't watched that. Yeah. Yeah, I probably needed just rest, Jamie. And that's what I did. I sat back and watched some ball games and I had fun watching ball games last night and yesterday. That TCU game was an exciting game and all that. I'm a little aggravated. I had to do a little wiggle waggle on my TV because I got Dish Network, and Dish Network has got the local ABC channels knocked out. At least they do in our area. And they knew that because ABC and ESPN, all of them were carrying most of the ball games. So what they do, they wait till the day of the ball games and they knock it out. And there it was, the championship games. Aggravated me. Thank goodness I had a live over the air, tuner that I had purchased for not much money. I'd purchased that a few months ago, and I quickly plugged it in and had it going and just without any interruption. But boy, that was aggravating yesterday to get up and get everything lined up, and then Dish Network put up their disclaimer that the local ABC channels were unavailable. And I go, yeah, I wonder why. Okay, Joey, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I get and I see every once in a while I got a Hamiltonville. Hank, I don't know if you've seen his channels down in Florida. He does stuff like that. And then what's Diesel Creek? I like to watch Diesel Creek, and that young boy's always pulling stuff out. Yeah, I probably know some of those. Probably some of them old mechanical 300 Cummins or 290 Cummins or something like that in those old KWs. He's in New York State, huh? Pull that one with an Aero sleeper. I don't know. That's what year model was it? A 50 something or 60 something model? Yeah. Has he got a pretty good sized channel? I haven't seen it. I'll check it out. Well, I don't know, old Hank. I guess he's running. He's doing whatever. I guess he's losing his touch. Hank's actually got his first cousin is married to a friend of mine up here here in Cherryville, Lee Daggerhart. Lee Daggerhart married Hank's first cousin. Hank is actually from Gastonia, which is just a few miles from me. He told me that. Oh, it's from the 70s. Oh, okay. 23,000 subscribers. Okay. Well, he's pretty good sized channel. Yeah, Hank and Wiley, they're pretty. Yeah. How about you? Yeah, that's Hank's an old retired military. Well, Hank's not old. He's way younger than me. I think he's only in his mid to early 50s, maybe late 40s, early 50s. He's retired military and then moved to Florida and bought some property down there. But like I said, he's from North Carolina originally. He's from over. I mean, his family is from over here in Gastonia, which is only about 12, 15 miles from me. That's where he was raised, as I was told, was over there in Gastonia. And like I said, his first cousin married a friend. His first cousin married Lee Daggerhart, who actually graduated with my son. So he's related to the Dagger Hearts and some other people down in the Gaston County area. But yeah, he's a good old boy. Seemed to found his niche. He's retired, so he doesn't have to have a regular income. And he's turned his channel into a pretty good sized channel, and he's probably getting some decent revenue. He's getting some good sponsorship with those tractors and a few things like that. A lot of these people are getting, free tractors and that sort of stuff. That's like Stony Ridge Farmer. I actually bought a bush hog from him and went up and met with Josh up there at Stony Ridge, and he's only about 150, 200 miles away from here, just on the upper part of North Carolina. And I went up there and saw his farm, saw parts of it. I didn't have time to go all the way around it. But he's a big old boy. He's a big, tall boy. He's about 6'4" and seems to be doing pretty good. And he's basically into content creator, as you say. I mean, I'm not into content creation. And as I say that, I mean, some people, it's a whole different prospect out there. Some people are actually documenting what they do, and some people are doing so they can document. You understand what I'm saying? Some people are actually just doing things so they can document it, so they can get a following, so they can get people to enjoy what they've got. I do things a little bit differently. When I put out content, it's content of what I'm actually doing. I mean, of course, most of mine, I'm just chatting and going on like I'm doing right now. Now, sometimes I'll talk about, FedEx, which I knew a lot about, 34 years with them. And hold on a second, my voice is getting raspy. But yeah, so you've got to. I want the channels to be entertaining. Now, I like. There's a boy up in New York State. I'm near Syracuse, I think, somewhere up in there. That he's got a few acres. His name's Pete. Just a few acres, I believe it's called. Now, I like his content. He's actually gets out there, shows his farm, him and his wife, and he's got 2 or 3 children, and but mainly him and his wife, and they're out there working on their farm. And he doesn't try to make it fancy, and he's not going out and getting tractor sponsorship and all kind of things like that. He's just showing his farm, and he seems to be doing real well with it and working hard. I like watching it because it's honest looking work, and he presents a pretty good little program. And then Let's Dig 18. I like that boy Chris is really talented with his heavy equipment, and he's got a real successful channel, and he's right here in North Carolina. Yeah, no, so you like him too. I'm glad you do, Chris. Yeah, he does. He got his dad jokes and everything else. He's about my son's age. I've gathered. His dad seems to be a few years older than me. Pete, I think's in his early 50s. My children are in their 50s. So I mean, my children are. My son will be 50 this coming June. My daughter, she's 50. She'll be 52. So I've got children that are getting up in their middle ages a little bit. But Barbara and I got married young, so we're still not ancient. I mean, Barbara and I both are in our 70s, but we're enjoying life, and I hope what I portray out here, it's real life. I don't try to make up anything. And like I said, you see all these what they call content creators, and it's like the people are they're let's say they're out there every day saying, well, let's go see if we can do this, and we'll take a picture of it and we'll make a video of it. I do it differently. Whatever I've got. I mean, I film what I've done or what we're doing. And if I put it up, I put it up and you see it. I don't specifically say, well, today's agenda, I've got to do X, Y, and Z, and hopefully somebody will like that. I don't do it that way. And I just do, I do whatever's going on in my life. And when I film it, that's what you get. Uh, it's not predetermined what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm sort of like what Pete's doing on his farm. He films his farm. He films what he's doing every day on his farm, and that's what I like to do myself. I mean, we're working on cars and trucks and different things around here. Now, I don't film that as much as I probably should. I probably should take the camera out, set it up, and film these things a little more, a little better than I do. I've done a lot of things over the past few years, and I go, that probably would have been interesting had I had time to film it. But what I do usually, I'll just go ahead and get in the equipment, go do it, and I'm done with it. I probably ought to take my time, like Mike Morgan and some of the others that just, get out there and film these things. Oh yeah, and that's the problem. Filming it does take a lot longer. I mean, and that's what I've gotten into. I guess Chris at Let's Dig, he probably spends less time filming than anybody. As far as prep work, you might say. I mean, he gets it good, but basically, he's going to put the camera in his bulldozer or his track hoe, and you're going to see him working with it, and he'll talk to the camera as he's doing it, and that's basically it. And if you like that, it's fine, and if you don't, it's fine, and you'll get a lot of his, over his shoulder type videos of what's going on the track hoe or the bulldozer. Now he does sometimes set up, and you get some views from the outside and everything, and he takes his time, but primarily he's just filming what he does every day. And so it's amazing that he's got a huge following too. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen the car crushing. No, I haven't seen that. I like a lot of mechanical things, and I do that, and I watch when I watch YouTube, and YouTube's better for me than television. I watch very little TV programming. Now we'll get on in the afternoon. We'll watch a little bit of the news type worthy things that we want to see, and we'll watch a little bit of Fox, a little bit of the local news maybe, but I get so sick and tired of seeing news they'll show you 3 minutes of something and then stop and then go to a commercial, and then you get 5 minutes worth of commercial, and they'll come back and they'll show 3 minutes and then give you a teaser for the next headline that they're going to show the next whatever. I mean, I usually record news programming, and then I'll skim it, because you can wipe out. You get about probably 18 minutes worth of content an hour programming, which is a really waste of time. So I like to DVR. I DVR a lot of things and then clean it out. Yeah. Well, you don't see me on CNN, that's for sure. I watch very little CNN. I watch some of their clips that other people show about that. I don't watch The View. I don't watch CNN, but I watch some of these other reports that make fun of or show their highlights of that. when you can see all the ridiculous programming. Yeah, CNN has lost. CNN used to be, when Ted Turner had it, when he started it, when they had the Gulf of Wars and all that, they were the place to go because they had reporters everywhere. They would report on things, and you could see real live news. Now they have commentary. They have just taken it and just made a muck of it. I mean, they need to shovel the crap out of there because all they got is crap. I mean, I don't need someone's opinion on everything. I mean, of course, I'm giving my opinion right now. And if people like my opinion, fine. If they don't, click off. I get no money out of it. So, doesn't bother me one way or the other. And that's the problem with the TV out there right now is you've got so many that their content is terrible. And I like having a selection with you and DVR. Technology is such that you can really scroll and hear what you want to hear and see what you want to see without being inundated with tons of commercials and tons of things that you don't want. Even like on YouTube, I actually pay $10 extra a month to YouTube, so I don't have to watch. So when I go look at YouTube videos, I don't see them. There's no YouTube commercials out there that I have to watch because, I mean, I want to get to the content, get to the meat of the stuff, flip through it, and if I like what I see, I'll watch it. If I don't like what I see, I'll go right back to the next channel. So I skim YouTube that way, and I get the content that I want without a ton of commercials. Because I know that commercials are the backbone of a lot of things, and my little bit of YouTube that I get commercials on it too. I guess I don't see them. I mean, I'm on their pay thing. Of course, mine are pesos. What little bit YouTube gives to me, I'll probably have given back more to YouTube than I get in return each month. I mean, it's minute. Of course, now if I had a big channel, I guess I would like some of the people that are getting successful with that. They're getting so successful that they're buying some major stuff, like Andrew Camarada. That boy, he's going through a bunch of equipment now lately. He keeps buying stuff, tearing it up, getting rid of it, getting him another piece. If you want something tested out to the max, give it to Andrew Camarada. He'll tear it up going up and down the mountains of New York State. I mean, that boy, I mean, I saw him. He had a Volvo haul truck the other day. And I was watching. I go, man, you're going to ruin that motor on that thing. He was running it hot and just pushing it to the limit. And then, of course, it showed where it finally wouldn't crank back on him. Well, he evidently had already scalded some pistons or blew the head gasket or something that. And then he talked about he ruined it or it wasn't this and wasn't that. Well, he should have taken a little more care of it. I mean, the average Joe would have, but not Andrew. He's like a bull in a china shop. I like watching him. I mean, little boy's a hard worker. Don't get me wrong. He gets out there and fixes a lot of stuff, and he's getting educated on fixing a lot of stuff, and he tries everything. But Lord have mercy, he can tear some equipment up. Hey, Blake. Well, congrats on the new building and everything, Blake. No, Joey, he's not afraid. And like I said, I like watching that boy's channel. I mean, of course, I want to cringe sometime because I know he's tearing something up and he keeps on going. That's what gets me. I mean, like I said, that Volvo truck, he could have watched it, and once he saw that it was running a little bit hot, he should have stopped it right then and said, "Let's go through the system and clean it out and everything else." So he probably would have saved that thing, but instead he kept on pushing it till it quit, and it quit. Well, Mark, what's your question? What's your question on buying a line haul route? Of course, I've sold all of mine, so I can't. I don't have any more to sell. Of course, I'm the recipient of being able to sell them, so I'm feel good about that. I asked you a question, Mark. Go ahead. Yeah, I know he's a that boy gets in there, and like I said, and works in some of the worst conditions. He's up there on the side of the mountain, and I feel for him because I know I said, man, you got to be freezing cold doing some of this stuff. Of course, he's young, so he can get away with it, and he's got a little girlfriend that seems to be just as energetic about it as he is. Well, Mark, there's a lot of challenges to those FedEx routes. I mean, are you trying to get line haul or package van? Well, Jamie, you get back to work. I know you got a lot of work going on. I'll see you out here later, Jamie. So you're getting ready to do some more video. That's what I've got one GoPro and a couple of I use of course I use my iPhone a lot, Blake. Now iPhones are a good these new iPhones are fantastic as far as their videos. Now these GoPros are good if if you're jumping around and you're moving a lot because they've got that stabilization built in. So that's what makes GoPros pretty neat. But I'll tell you what, for content as far as good pictures, I'm actually using this is an iPhone 13 right now that I'm using on this video as we speak, and I've been very impressed with these iPhones and the way this new software is. I'm using this via my laptop. It's using the iPhone 13 camera as my webcam, as opposed to using my regular webcam video. That's what I'm doing there. Oh, you're going to do line haul, are you? Well, being a passive is not going to be your best bet. Now, if that's what you want, that's so be it. But I don't. Are you doing it by yourself? Are you got several investors, Mark? I mean, when you say passive, I'm of the mindset that it's a group of people doing it, because if you want to run it and run it right, you ought to have a hands-on, because if not, it will passively pass you by, in my opinion. I've seen some people get in there thinking they can just throw money at it, have managers and a few other things, and it'll run by itself. They don't run by themselves. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. No, I wouldn't hold my breath on Elon doing a phone anytime soon. I think he was doing that just as to maybe piss off some people. Um, I don't think he'll do an iPhone type phone, and he'll have to have an operating system and everything too. So that's a whole different thing out there, Joey. I'm not concerned about that. I mean, as it stands right now, Apple and Google have the best phones out there, and everybody else kind of stands in second and third and fourth place. I mean, Samsung makes a pretty good one too. and Samsung makes a lot of good lens and everything else. But as far as adding all the technology together and doing it right, iPhone's still leading. I think they still lead the way. And because they blend their software and their hardware and everything together, it's all by one company. That's what makes them sort of a leader as opposed to these others that leave it up to too many third party people. Yeah. Well, Mark, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and a lot of people like that. But, just because you have a manager in place does not always mean that manager is going to be the best thing for you. And if the person's ready to sell, why are they selling it if they have a manager in place? If the manager's doing everything that needs to be done, why not just keep on running it? I mean, there's a reason behind somebody wanting to sell. One thing I will caution you: find out how old the business is. Is it 1 year old, 2 years old, 3, 4, 5 years old? If it doesn't have a long track record, I'd be leery of it because a lot of these people, and I'm finding this out a lot. A lot of these people are getting these FedEx routes, keeping them 1 or 2 years, then turn around, putting them on the market and selling them. And that's what seems to be the big scam out there right now, as the people that get in quick and get out quick. And they're getting in, getting on the extra board, getting their feet on the ground a little bit, showing the multiples and everything that they've got, showing the financials, and they're not stable. I mean, you need something that's stable. You don't need something that's quick in and out. I mean, my business I had for 34 years. Now, you're not going to find many like mine that are 34 years old or 20 years old or 10 years old. 10 you might. And if you can find something that's 10 years old and that's got a track record, you'd be good. If you get into this and these people have only been in business for 3 years, 4 years, that's not a stable business. It can't be. That's too short of a time for it to be a real strong, stable business. That's my opinion. Well, I would definitely get FedEx as opposed to Amazon. Amazon, you have nothing. Amazon line haul, and the reason I say because I was in that too. I was in that at the very beginning. You have no contract whatsoever with Amazon. I mean, they will assign you runs to do on a daily basis or weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. They'll give you runs to run, and they don't give you that they'll run you all over the place. Stability is terrible with Amazon, and I would run away from that place. They're all out about Amazon, and they're not in there to give you anything that's tangible that you could resell. I mean, you can't resell. I mean, unless you're talking, unless you do what?
You don't own your
Yeah.
Amazon.
As my wife sent out there, you don't own the Amazon routes, not line haul anyway. Now, these package ones, you buy into that. I mean, it's a crazy thing on these package vans. You can buy into that. But Amazon, I'm telling you, you talking about a cutthroat business. Now, that place will cut you in a heartbeat. They don't care. You can be doing something fantastic for them for years at a time. And then you make one mistake and they go, we don't need you. And you're gone. That's how quick they make it. If you can buy one that's been 10 plus, if you can buy one 5 or 6 or 7 years plus, I mean, you could do that, Mark. I mean, I would not buy something that is somebody bought or started 2 years ago. I wouldn't give that. I mean, they got in and got out is what they're trying to do. And they're trying to make a good lick off of it. I mean, they basically were benefits of going on My Ground Biz. And so you can go on My Ground Biz and ask for availability of routes. Won't cost you a dime.
Build a ground ground.
Ground Biz. Yeah, not My Ground Biz. My wife has to correct me. My wife is standing off in the background. When she heard that stuff I was talking about, she's the brains of the organization. she's the brains when it comes to knowing the details.
And you're the good looks of the organization.
Oh yeah, I'm the good looks of the organization. Yeah, I'm the wore out looks, that's for sure. Yeah. 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 You got to thank you, Barbara. Yeah, my wife, she did the books for us for about 15 years. Well, she did the books all those years. I brought her in full time, and she was a contractor for the last 10 years of our year, our of us working with FedEx. My wife is very, very astute, very smart, very book knowledgeable. I ran all the drivers. Uh, I did the drivers of the shop and handled stuff, and she handled the details as far as all the paperwork, making sure all the logs and the mileage reports and all that was in good shape. And that's the other thing when you're talking about a manager. Uh, what is the duties of this manager? Is that manager going to do the paperwork and keep everything straight? Because there's a lot of issues on that. How many trucks are you talking about, Mark? I mean, that's the thing. Oh, I look over the typos. We're not doing an English lit thing here, so the typos are no problem. Um, but I like, I like to see people be able to get out there and do well with the FedEx. And like I say, with the FedEx, I try to uh, be as honest as I can. And you're hearing it straight from me. I'm not reading any kind of script. I lived it. I lived it. My wife and I lived the FedEx for 34 years. Well, when you're saying your day-to-day operations, the day-to-day operations are how many trucks are you talking about, Mark? I mean, I'm not trying to pry and what location, what part of the United States is it? And how many trucks are you talking? Because I mean, and the other thing is, the difference between dedicated and unassigned and those sort of things too, because, your dedicated routes have more value in them. Your unassigned have less value because your unassigned is basically that you're at the mercy of whatever FedEx wants to give you on a daily basis. I mean, your unassigned is not going to give you a, a guaranteed amount of miles each week. Now, granted, even on the unassigned board, most people get enough mileage. They used to anyway, to survive pretty good. But yeah, just because you're doing the weekly payroll and the driver staffing, if you're doing the driver staffing, that's one of the hardest parts. Now, are you buying established routes, Mark? In other words, you're saying you're going to start with one because they won't let you start with one route. You got to have a minimum of two or three, isn't it? Two. You got to have a minimum of two, and somebody told me you had to have three now. They may have bumped it to three. I don't know, but yeah, they won't let you start with just one route. Yeah, Joy, Miss Barbara keeps me in shape here. I mean, Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Blake. Well, how many trucks you have now, Blake? You got what, 3? And you're buying, or did you say you're buying a shop or building a shop? Oh, you're based in Atlanta. Well, you're not too far from me, Mark. I was, I had trucks running into Atlanta for 25 years. I had them coming out of Charlotte into Atlanta, and then later on, when I got into Savannah, I had a bunch going from Savannah to Atlanta. Yeah, yeah. You have to have the 2 routes at least. Now, have you talked to individuals down there, Mark? Or are you trying to go through a broker? So you got 4 trucks now, have you, Blake? Well, that's good. You got 3 drivers or 4 drivers, Blake? Or are you still driving yourself? Of course, I think I know that answer because I've seen you in the truck. But now, have you got? Are you still paving right now? Are y'all hauling rock or rock salt? Probably hauling rock salt now, aren't you? To get that piled up. Broker. I have a broker friend down there in Atlanta. Gosh, what's
Adam Armstrong.
Adam Armstrong? But what's his name? His place?
I think you can just find him under.
Just under Adam Armstrong. Yeah, Adam Armstrong is a broker in Atlanta, and he's a former contractor. Him and his dad were contractors at FedEx, and they're brokers now. So you can check with him. Oh, you're building a small shop. Well, don't build it small. Go ahead and build it as big as you can afford. Like, build it as big as you can afford. You need to come down and buy some shop equipment that I need to get rid of. Are you hauling millings now? Okay, so have you got you got something to pack them down? If you can haul the millings over to your place, you have your lot paved almost, can't you? Mix that in with some crusher run and a few other things I've seen people do. Makes a good tight road. Yeah, Mark, he's Adam Armstrong's a good guy. He's got a couple of routes, I think, in that area. He can help you out and reasonable. He's not like the boy that up in Tennessee that got himself in trouble. Oh, you just want a storage shop? Okay. Well, why don't you get you some container trailers? You can be like Andrew Camarada. Get you some, stack them on top of each other. Yeah. Well, yeah, you could probably need that too, Mark. I had a good lawyer. Well, I still have him up here in Gastonia. He's helped me on several things. Make sure I can get it done right. Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, contact Adam because he's a good man. Tell him I sent you too. I don't get anything out of it, but I just want him to know that I did that. Uh, Adam's a good boy. He actually came up here and he had a couple of investors that were thinking about buying some bankers down there in Atlanta. Gosh, they ran me through the coals trying to. I didn't particularly like the. Of course, he was helping me sell at that time. At least I thought, and but he's a good guy. Hey, Adam seems to be as honest as any broker that you can get out there, and not a lot of fluff. He's a big old boy. He's a big old boy. He's in the storage container. I mean, storage buildings and a lot of other things. He's a good young entrepreneur. Him and his dad, and but I think you'll like him. Oh gosh, the wife didn't want shipping containers too close to the house. Uh, my wife is over there nodding right now, so she's going along with your wife. My wife wants me to. I'm gonna have to add on to my shed out here too. Well, you're better off exactly to be there in the southeast. The southeast is a lot better than going. You can get in trouble, especially if you're not real prepared and having like we're talking to other people on here that have got shops and other things. Unless you've got the equipment and can maintain the equipment yourself and a lot of things, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble trying to go up north and or even take routes up north. I mean, as long as you can stay in the southeast, if you can base yourself in Atlanta and go into Alabama or North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, the lower part of Georgia, Savannah, those kind of things, Macon, you know, there's a big route. They're moving a lot of freight between Atlanta and Savannah, and they're moving a lot of freight between Charlotte and they always have moved a lot between Charlotte and Atlanta, and even over to Spartanburg right now too. They move a lot of freight because they've got that new hub in Spartanburg. Well, it's not new anymore, but newer, and they've got that intercoastal port and everything up in the Greenville area. I went by that the other day. That's beginning to be huge over in Greenville, and that's not too far from Spartanburg. So there's just a lot of different opportunities here in the Southeast. So if you can get yourself involved with that, you'll be in good shape. So check into that, and I'd stay away from anything away from your home base. You get your trucks too far away, then you're in tough shape. Well, guys, I have about talked myself out. I've really been on here. I didn't intend to be on here this long. And when I get to talking and talk away, Donna Barb, my wife is looking at me. She's looking at me. Well, why are you still on there?
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, I thought maybe you were needing me to get off.
No,
You don't? Okay.
talk as long as you want.
Talk as long as I want. Well, I about talked out. I need to get me something to drink here. But at least I feel better this week. You can see, most guys can see I lasted this long. Last week, I wouldn't have lasted 15 minutes. I didn't even last 5 minutes last week. But I hope everybody's enjoyed it. I'm going to get off of here, and I'll see y'all around next or any other time that I throw some videos up there. So y'all take care, and I'll catch you later.